Hey, everybody. Hello. Welcome in. I am back.
Nice.
It is my birthday, and I'm sporting the Budweiser jacket today because it's the Christmas colors. And Radio Pro and Straw Boy have already said, have a cold one on us today.
Yes. A little history for some of you out there. By the way, for you newbies, I'm Barry McKnight. That's John Longshore. It was on reportedly a cold day back in 1963 when Mrs. Longshore was in the local hospital.
St. Margaret's Hospital, which is no longer downtown Montgomery.
Up to that point, her life had been smooth and calm, and little did she know was this very night, 63 years ago, things were about to get interesting. A bouncing baby boy made his way into the world and made a lot of people happy, helped a lot of people, did a lot of positive things. But he has been the scourge of local man ever since. There are local men right now who this day, they're wearing sackcloth. They're not taking phone calls. This is a day of mourning for them.
Well, it's been a nice 62. I have to admit, Barry, no doubt.
Yeah. 63, 62 years.
Believe it or not. There were two songs that referenced this date. One, the head nurse said, "Step aside, I'll take care of this one."
Yes.
The other was the Four Seasons with "Oh What a Night," late December.
What a very special time for that. That's actually a great song from the Four Seasons. Little Frankie Valli mixed in here and there's a pretty good video too. The other one was that "Bad to the Bone" from George Thorogood and the Delaware Destroyers.
Head nurse said, "Step aside, I'll take care of this one."
Because she knew I was bad to the bone. Yeah. Well, happy birthday.
All the pomp and circumstance out of the way. Thank you, folks. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Sorry I missed yesterday after a crazy college football playoff weekend. Started on Friday night. We had a triple header on Saturday. Was a little, had a little something going on Monday. So hope everybody understands. But I'm ready to go here today. And as you can imagine, Barry, as the games played out, not only Friday night, but over the weekend as well, I took a lot of notes.
I mean, the legal pad notes.
Yeah.
Already I've gotten a couple of texts. We got a little bit later on. This is called a tease. Mm-hmm. We're going to get the true history behind that jacket because that thing looks like it's, looks like it's had some days.
There's a lot of history to it. One of my lifelong best friends of all time texted me earlier this morning wishing me happy birthday, and that's where this coat originated. So Sammy in Atlanta, if you're watching, a lot of memories in this coat, my friend.
Yes, a lot of memories still to be made for sure. Now, we referenced yesterday on the show a little college football. We referenced, of course, that the Saints are screwing things up later in the year. Winning these games and stuff. And I knew that on Sunday, properly motivated with the people in the stands, that they were going to win.
They were laying 6.5, Barry. Range Pro or maybe Straw Boy sent me. There was more money on the Saints Sunday than any other team in the NFL. And I'm thinking the Saints laying 6.5, and they covered them.
Well, there was that. Of course, I wore my Jacksonville Jaguars sweatshirt yesterday. They stopped the Broncos' 11-game winning streak in Denver yesterday. But I thought today we would spend a little time on college football. What do you say?
Yeah, that'd be nice. Well, I guess I want to start with the positives.
Yeah, let's start. We're on your schedule here. Let's catch up a little bit with John Longshore.
Here it is, the Christmas season, and everybody's happy and giving, and I get it. First of all, incredible comeback by the Crimson Tide. I got to tell you, first 2 or 3 series, it's 3 and out. They're farting around. You can say, "Oh, this is not good." This has got Florida State written all over it. and they didn't lay down. They didn't quit. They didn't tuck their tails and go home. So it was a heck of a comeback. I think the adjustments in the second half were really good. I think really good adjustments there. But they kept fighting. There's some problems. There's no doubt. We'll get to those in a minute. And I know there were a lot of mistakes by Oklahoma that Alabama took advantage of, muffed punts, drop passes, wide open receivers. We've seen it all football season long, and it's happened to a lot of teams, and it kind of evens out a little bit. But I do just think the way Alabama played defense in the second half was too much for Oklahoma to handle.
That was, to me, and we said this yesterday, it gratifies me to know that you saw the same thing. Things changed when Alabama decided to knock John Mateer around a little bit.
Yeah.
Instead, this standing back in the pocket and picking out receivers and having open lanes through the pocket and running, that had to stop. And Alabama knocked them around a good bit in the second half to great effect. To me, the obvious play that turned the momentum, I still have no idea who Mateer was throwing to on that sideline pass late in the first half, other than, was it Xavier Brown?
Correct.
Because there was no one else around. And, you get that pick six late in the half, you going into halftime, not only not trailing, but with all the momentum that Oklahoma was never able to get back.
Barry, I was the same way, because when it happened in real time, I went, whoa, who is he throwing it to? But as I went back and saw some of the replays, that's there again, Alabama started a little bit of that even before the second half. They were showing blitz, and they had everybody on the line of scrimmage, and I guess Mateer thought everybody was coming, and I guess he didn't see Xavier and another guy back out right before the snap, because I'm thinking, who are you throwing it to there? So to me, he was a little confused. Maybe he just didn't see the look as well as he needed to. But that was candy to a baby. I mean, that was just boom. Yeah, easy. Pick six. And there again, some of that confusion, they brought more of it in the second half, and it certainly paid off.
So it ended up being from a 17-0 deficit to a 34-24, is that right? Yeah, Alabama win, double-digit win. They found out a little bit more about themselves, that's for sure, John.
Yeah.
John, they found out a little bit more about some of their fans, too, If you were on social media at the front, by the way, shout out to my buddy Les Perrault down in Ozark. We had a great native of Ozark, guest hosting yesterday, and he told a Les Perrault story because Les on Facebook posted that today was going to be your 62nd birthday, and in honor, you got to check it out on Facebook, Les Perrault. And in honor of this being your 62nd birthday, he has initiated a push to 1,000 to get us to 1,000 subscribers.
Yes.
We're awfully close. And he gave you instructions on how to do that. But there were fans on social media when it was 17-0, threw in the towel.
No doubt.
Hey, Michigan, you can go ahead and take our coach and take our coordinators too. I knew this guy was, the same stuff you've heard before, but this was when the game was barely 15 minutes old. And then, of course, later on at the end, a couple of them, stand-up people, all were saying, hey, I was wrong. I admit it. I should have had more faith. That's on me. But, man, at the very beginning, if you ever wondered who the fair weather Alabama fans are, just check the timeline about,
Barry,
just starting in the second quarter of that.
And Rodney's going to be on with us today because obviously Thursday is Christmas and we won't be on Christmas. So Rodney's going to come on this morning, as well as Travis in the bottom half of hour number 2. Tighter Insider was on meltdown. There's no doubt. I checked it out. And you know me, Barry, I'm kind of like the guy that can't quit smoking and sees that pack over there and reaches for it. Yes, I did go to Bot to get a message board and see what the Albs were talking about. They were a little chirpy on the Auburn website, which was kind of amusing. But I will admit, I got to come clean. several text threads. I think that's what they call them, text threads.
Right.
That I'm on with a bunch of people. And I did post first team to 17 is going to win, which I said on this very program.
Multiple times.
Then I went back and said, well, both teams have 17. Now we got a new game. Let's play ball. So, yeah, I was wrong too. And those first 3 or 4 series, as I mentioned earlier, Alabama looked just terrible. But they were, but there again, tied it up. And as they got to 7, then they got to 10, you're kind of thinking, man, if they could just get it to 17, they got a chance in the second half. Next thing you know, they're there, and it is a totally different ball game. But they looked ugly early. I mean, it was brutal early, and you just didn't see a lot of improvement. You didn't see any change. Nothing was different. Nothing was new. But somehow they were able to make some adjustments and take advantage of some Oklahoma weaknesses. And I will say this, Barry, I felt really good for Kalen DeBoer. And we talked a lot about this last week. This one game's going to do a lot for Kalen DeBoer's future at Alabama. If they lose, I don't think Greg Byrne's going to get rid of him. Will he go to Michigan? Can't tell you. Don't know why he would. But if he wins the game, he's going to be thought of in a totally different light from this fan base. They're going to be happy for him. They won a playoff game. They're still relevant. They're still part of the college football playoff. Alabama got so much positive exposure Friday night, not only coming back and winning that game after being down 17, a huge story. I've got the TV on. Scott Van Pelt they go immediately to him after they wrap up. They spend the first 30 minutes talking about the game. They got DeBoer interviewing him, interviewing Herbie and Fowler. And I'm thinking, you can't ask for better exposure. I mean, it's the only game in town. The football world's getting to see and hear all about Alabama all night long. DeBoer wins. He ain't going to Michigan, and everybody's happy. Now, could that change on New Year's afternoon? Yeah, it could.
Oh, yeah, it could.
But as of right now, DeBoer got a huge shot in the arm. He can exhale and get ready for Indiana, maybe not being under as much scrutiny and under the microscope and getting the criticism that he would have gotten if they would have lost, particularly, Barry, if that game had played out like it started. When they were down 17, they ended up losing the thing, 31-10. Whew, been tough.
Along those same lines, and I agree with you, along those same lines, what John just said, you can erase the name Kalen DeBoer and type in the name Ty Simpson, and it's the same deal. I'm happy for him. There's a couple of things. Number one, the kid looks like a choir boy. I mean, you put him in the Vienna Boys Choir with, a little bit smaller and, with the uniform and everything, he will fit right in. But that guy's tough as nails, John. He took some hits. He's taken some hits over the last month, and his leadership in that game was outstanding. He took some hits, popped right up. Okay, here we go. Play the next play. That was impressive, and he played well when they absolutely had to. So, I love it that he got some run. I love it as well because this is me. I'm this guy too. 50 Cent was on the field, was on the sidelines. Are we all cool with that? We're not cool about Auburn trustee being on the sidelines or Tim Jackson being on the sidelines or stuff like that. We don't like that. But 50 Cent on the sideline is okay, right?
Did he go to Oklahoma? Is he an Oklahoma native? What's the connection?
I don't know what the deal is. I don't. To be honest, the best time of the whole night was after the game in the post-game press conference when Ty Simpson says, I got to be honest, I didn't know who 50 Cent was. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, Barry, there's an interesting connection there with 50 Cent.
Yeah.
There again, I saw him coming out of the tunnel. I couldn't hear what he was singing because I was talking to somebody, whatever, wasn't really paying attention. But at the Saints game on Sunday, they started playing a song that I was familiar with called It's Your Birthday. I'm thinking, whoa, really? Thanks.
A surprise party.
Oh, what the heck?
I'll kill you.
And lo and behold, the PA announcer goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a big Superdome welcome for 50 Cent." And they show him up he's in a box. And I'm going, whoa, wait a minute. How'd you get from Norman to New Orleans so quickly? Good for you, 50 Cent. So they showed him. He waved, big smile. But 50 Cent got a lot of exposure this weekend, obviously.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. You know who else? I couldn't figure out how they did this or exactly what happened to where they can watch everything. I know the technology and stuff, but I can't exactly visualize it. College game day was in Norman on Friday. And then they were in College Station on Saturday. Is that right?
Saturday morning.
They were on Friday to Saturday morning. Shout out to whoever it is that sets that baby up. Because we were talking about, man, how in the world are Pat McAfee and Saban and Reese and Desmond, how are they going to get down to College Station, which isn't hard, but, and still watch the game and all this kind of stuff and everything. And I thought, the heck with that. How'd they get all that? Do they have two stages?
Yeah, I would think they have multiple sets. No way they could have broken that down and set it up. When they go on campus, they're there like Tuesday or Wednesday getting it all set up. So, yeah, I would imagine they've got two of those. Oh. I wondered, because you didn't see them at halftime. I don't believe the game day guys were there. So I'm thinking, did they go ahead and go on to College Station? Because you always hear about these guys on the plane watching the games while they're traveling. So maybe they did that.
Did Reese have to swipe his credit card on the back of the seat in front of him?
Oh, I got a feeling they were flying privately. Maybe all of them in the same plane. But they because I was wondering, obviously they'd get up early because it was an early broadcast in College Station. They might have gone ahead and gotten there so they could go to sleep. But I did think I thought about that too on Saturday. I said, man, these guys have pulled some long hours doing double duty on game day. But it was fun. All right, a lot going on today. As I mentioned, a lot of guests, Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com, a lot going on in the transfer world. People opting out, things of that nature. We'll talk with Brian about that. Travis Ryer on YouTube to kick off hour number 2. And a special appearance by Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, brought to you by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. Well, because Thursday is Christmas, and we won't be here. So Rodney's coming on a little early this week.
Yes. Also gone on Wednesday, too. Back again on Friday. So it's a 3-day week for us. It's our Tuesday live show. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light. Glad to have you along with us here as we get underway on this Monday.
Tuesday. Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
On the basketball court, the soccer pitch, or even the golf course, your crew brings their best not just for the win, but for that post-game celebration. When victory tastes like Michelob Ultra, it's worth every drop of sweat. And if you don't win, you'll still get the beer. It's just on you. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. Superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's here. Victoryland Casino's Corvette 25K giveaway. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Drive away in a Corvette or win your share of $25,000 in free play and cash. Visit our Players Club and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino off I-85 exit 22 in Shorter, Alabama. Drawings October 3rd and 4th, must be 21 or older.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. About 19 minutes past the hour here on the with Longshore McKnight on a Tuesday.
Yep.
It is a Tuesday. It does feel a little different because of the Christmas week. Quickly on the NFL, you mentioned the Jags. Great game. Saw some of that against Denver. Huge. I mean, this Jags team's kind of surprised some people. I think they've snuck up on some people today.
And all the Jaguar players,
year.
all the Jaguar players are saying, yeah, we don't need any bandwagon fans. We'll do it ourselves. All of you national people, oh, the Jags are 11-4 and leading the division. We don't need you. If you weren't with us at the beginning, we don't need you right now. And I kind of get it there.
Yeah. If you just can't jump on now. Doesn't work that way. I will say this about I was at the Saints game on Sunday, played the Jets. The Jets are horrible. I felt sorry for their quarterback. He ran around all day. They play a lot of music. There's a lot of lights flashing. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot going on to make the place even more exciting. Taysom Hill can still play. I don't know how long he's been in the league and how old he is, but they gave the ball to him a lot in different situations. And he can still play. And I am a little impressed with the quarterback from Louisville. He's pretty good, too.
Tyler Shuck.
He's pretty good. Kool-Aid McKinstry caught my eye. He's grown into an NFL player. He's pretty good back there in the defensive backfield. The uniforms have got to go. I just don't like the faded gold.
No, as a broadcaster, I hate the faded gold because you can't tell the numbers and everything. So, gosh, the Jets are horrible. Horrible. In terms of football, everything else, all right, the first round games are done. We're done with campus sites, which is a shame.
Yep.
Because Oklahoma was lit. Norman was great. Texas A&M, crazy. Ole Miss, a stadium record, even though it was a bad game. And Oregon, 55,000 plus for a late night game. That's probably my favorite thing about the new format is you get to play on-campus games on the first ones.
That's pretty
Anything
cool.
else kind of catch your eye about the first-round games?
Yeah, Barry, I mentioned that a lot of my relatives were in Oxford. Got a lot of Ole Miss grads, and they were there and said it was, you can imagine. I mean, nothing like that has been in Oxford ever. And I get it, first-round playoff, but I'm talking about the energy, the importance, a game of that magnitude. It's been a long time since Ole Miss has been in that spot, and the place was going berserk. I mean, they were so excited. Thought they did everybody had on elf hats in the stadium, the drone show. And of course, the way the team played, very, very exciting. And I thought Ole Miss looked good. I didn't get to see a lot of the Oregon JMU game for several reasons. A&M and Miami surprised me, no doubt.
Yeah.
But Barry, what I picked up on, and you're probably not going to like this, I didn't hear a lot of national football media people going, I sure am glad JMU and Tulane are in this playoff. It seemed to be the complete opposite. They were getting beat up.
Well, and John Summerall talked about it post-game, had a great post-game thing after Tulane got beat by 31 against Ole Miss and was never in it. He says, I kind of get it with the way the game went, with the way we played, with the way Tulane played. I kind of get it, but I still think there should be a group of 5 representative every year. Here's 2 things about it, and you know how I feel about it. Unless they just totally separate the divisions, there's no reason why you should have everybody in the same classification and not have the same playoff. There's no reason why. And I know I'm in the minority now just because of the way the games went. And James Madison was pretty competitive against Oregon, who did not play well in the second half. And it wasn't because they had a bunch of second-teamers and third-teamers out there. What happened this year is not going to happen again. You're not going to have 2 ever again. You'll have 1. And some years you may not have any, but you'll have 1 because, Notre Dame, they've got it tweaked. The ACC has changed what they're going to do with their championship game. This is all in the ACC because they were so bad this year. What you're talking about, what everybody's talking about, they need to have their own playoff. That's as a knee-jerk reaction to this year. We can't have two. Well, you're not going to have two anymore. That's not going to be a thing. So why would you over legislate this for something that's not going to happen again? And there are deserving teams out there. Saban was saying, well, we could have had Notre Dame versus Ole Miss or whatever it was. And you could have. But again, this is not something they thought of at the last minute. Everybody agreed to this. Everybody agreed that this is the way they should do it. And now all of a sudden, two group of five teams are out there and people are clutching the pearls saying, oh, this is a travesty to college football. That's the way you guys legislated it. Playing by the rules.
Maybe they need to have some new legislation.
Well, they will.
And, I would have appreciated if my buddy Nick Saban would have at least given me a little run when he said, group of five needs to have their own playoff. I went, where'd you hear that about a week ago, Coach? I mean, come on. Show the love.
So Miami moves on. Alabama, Ole Miss, Oregon move on. Nothing this week. Nothing this week. It all starts again. You guys are just going to have to take a deep breath. It all starts again a week from tomorrow.
Yeah.
Can you make it? And for Alabama fans, it's a week from Thursday. There's one game on Wednesday, on New Year's Eve. That's the Cotton Bowl, Ohio State versus Miami at 6:30. All of these games are on ESPN. There ain't no more TNT Jazz or anything like that. Thursday, 3 games. Texas Tech and Oregon at 11 in the morning. Indiana and Alabama from the Rose Bowl at 3.
The Rose Bowl.
And then Georgia and Ole Miss at 7 o'clock in the Sugar Bowl. We've had a lot of questions on our chat line this morning. Bill from Baltimore. Since it's Christmas week, what do you think Santa will bring the Auburn football program? They've had too much coal for too long.
Bill, think about that one.
Yeah. John and Barry, this is from Lifetime Achievement Award winner Dennis Mitchell. John and Barry, tell me this. Can Ole Miss beat Georgia? John, you want to handle it first?
I think they can, Dennis.
I think they can do it. It is screwed up.
Will they? Is another question.
If you want to talk about legislating something, we need to legislate the fact that Ole Miss is in the college football playoff for the very first time, and their head football coach is not there.
Yeah.
It's not Ole Miss's fault.
I mean, let's give Ole Miss a little love, too. They've been through a little problem there.
And
Pete Golding looked pretty good. Got a haircut, trimmed his beard up a little bit.
Needed to. Needed to. This is from what was the other one I was looking for?
Here's one I wanted to bring up here, Barry. How about this one? Is that Dennis? Oh, yeah, it was Dennis. How about this one?
All right.
For my man Ryan out at
That's
Bama
what
Budweiser.
I was looking for. Yeah, Ryan says, John, I remember when you walked in the warehouse at Bama Budweiser with that Budweiser blazer on looking for Mr. Frank.
I remember that too, Ryan. I sure do. Man, I miss Mr. Frank. What a character. Man, God rest his soul. He was a huge Alabama fan. I can't tell you how many times we had lunch and talked about football. But, yeah, when I got this jacket back, I misplaced it for a while. I walked into the Bama Budweiser warehouse, walked in there, showed it to him. He lit up. He just thought it was great. And, Barry, these jackets were given out in the 60s during a Anheuser-Busch convention. And all of the distributors around the country got a Budweiser jacket. That's where the origin of this story. So there's a bunch of them out there somewhere, but they're obviously extremely hard to find. And this goes back to my high school days when this first popped up. My best friend of all time, his godfather had one, gave it to him. He wore it a little while, let me use it and wear it up in Tuscaloosa for a bit. And there again, long story. But Ryan, I appreciate you bringing that up because that was I can remember that like it was yesterday.
Yeah, good stuff. A lot of stuff on the chat line. We appreciate you. John Dent, I appreciate the fact that you gave us 10 minutes on the show before all the negativity started and the personal attacks against me. Thanks for...
Wow. Already. Where is that? I hadn't seen those.
Yeah,
where are those?
Barry is the Auburn version of Harvey Updike. Come on, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it, but thank you at least for giving us 10 minutes where we can actually, be grown-ups on this program before you come in. That was nice. That was nice, and it is much appreciated. So we have got a lot going on here. Yep. Bill from Baltimore says, I know Santa will bring the football program an unlimited smoothie machine.
Bill, nice sense of humor. That is awesome.
I mean, it is a sense of humor. The smoothie thing has been played.
I just think, Barry, that's just one of those things that's never going to die. It's going to be here till the end of time. It's kind of like Twilita with the double birds coming off the stage at graduation.
What it's like is that people looking at each other like that old commercial, and they say, what's up? That's so played. That's, for those people who are saying, where's the beef? Or can you say such and such? Shut up.
I mean,
shut up with all that.
Really over T-Town menswear and Bojo's curb feelers?
Ain't even close.
Huh. Yeah. I think that's something that we'll probably still keep bringing up from time to time.
There is one question that is on this chat line.
Yep.
That we are going to have to wait on. We will not address it today. We'll not address it head on today because we do have a little bit of time, and it's another one from Dennis Mitchell. Can Alabama beat Indiana in the Rose Bowl next week? That is a long, involved question.
It is. You're right. As Barry mentioned, we got a week and a half before that game.
Yes.
Will be played. So short answer, Dennis, yeah. Sure they can.
They could, yeah. It's not, beyond, man, there's no way they can win. Yeah, they can win the game. They have got to play. They've got to play better than they played last week.
They got to play like they were playing in October for them to win the game. And they're going to be healthier. They got some time to kind of decompress and refocus and get ready, heal up. But they got to play like they did in October. That's the short answer.
And, I thought it was a little bit unfair. I think it was Tobias who said, and again, you have to find these things on the fly. He said, who would win in a 40-yard dash between Phillip Rivers and Daniel Hill? That's a little unfair, okay?
Daniel Hill is not a speed demon. I did pick up on that Friday night. He is not the fastest player. And I got to give it up for Phillip Rivers, but, man, that guy has no zip on the ball.
He's 44 years old. I mean, everybody can't be firing 30-yard outs on the playing surface at Crampton Bowl at the Capital City Classic at 40-something years of age. That ain't everybody. I thought
he would have maybe gotten picked off a few more times. I mean, man, those balls were floating on him last night. But, hey, give it up to the guy. 44 and going out there and playing, heck.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Nothing wrong with floating. But anyway, when we come back, Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com.
Correct.
It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
Hey, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You got a Bud Light? Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light. Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here? Oh, Bud Light there. I missed that because of you. You did not miss that play because of me. Tough to stop talking this way? Yeah. It's actually kind of fun. Hey, I got your Bud Light. Oh, nice. Never mind. Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light. What'd I miss? I have no idea.
Oh,
You can be a winner too with Victoryland Casino's 8 days of giveaways. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. We're giving away $125,000 in free play and cash. That's right. Victoryland Casino is giving away $125,000 in free play and cash. Come play the latest and greatest games featuring exciting bonuses and huge jackpots. There's always more ways to win at Victoryland Casino. Off I-85, exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Okay, we're back at it here on this Tuesday, 25 minutes to the top of the hour. Our man Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com, always joins us during this segment. Brian, glad you're with us here today. Merry Christmas and hope everything's going well.
Merry Christmas. Love that jacket, John. That is top notch right there.
Well, it's a special occasion today, Brian.
It's his
if you hadn't
birthday.
noticed, it's my birthday today, so I thought I'd mix in the Budweiser sport coat today.
Happy birthday, not a day over 39 or
That's
49.
Got that
exactly
right.
Yes, no question at all. Brian, questions I do have. It looks like Alex Golesh's coaching staff is finished up. I mean, the guys, who are actually out on the field, position coaching and all that kind of stuff. Any highlights there? Any things that impressed you there about that staff and the hiring process?
Well, I think it's great that he kept his, his key staff together offensively, most of it, especially his quarterback coaches, which I think, are guys that he really has a lot of trust in and running this offense. And Cody Burns, who's the co-offensive coordinator and wide receiver coach, I thought that was big, getting him. And then, keeping some continuity with DJ Durkin and Von Trucking Williams, I thought was really, really important. And I think the Van Dyke coach he brought over from South Florida, I think he's going to be a guy that people look at as a future star of this business. I think I think a lot of people think he's a special type of coach. So I feel really good about the coaching staff he put together. And the biggest thing for me was this is the first time I've kind of gone through an entire reset. I kind of thought that more of the analyst and recruiting guys would all stick around, but this is almost an entirely new staff you had to bring in. So you're talking about 30, 40 people. That's a big job to bring in all these new people.
Yeah, boy, I didn't realize it had gone that deep, Brian. It looks like, just a complete sweep and bringing in not only coaches but staff and everybody. Also, some other people with Auburn football seem to be heading somewhere else. People announcing that they're entering the transfer portal. Are you surprised by, I guess, some of the names that have announced and the number of former players that have announced?
I am both. I figured it'd be a little bit higher number, but you're already at 22, and I think there's more to come. So we'll see how that looks. But 5 of those guys, to me, are either starters or projected starters, which is a surprise to me. Malcolm Simmons, that's definitely a guy you want to keep, right? I mean, that's a guy that can really be productive in the slot and in the right system with the right quarterback, and he showed that the last couple games of the season. You both starting cornerbacks now are heading out, Jay Crawford and Kyan Lee, which, again, that's a pretty big surprise. Those guys have played a lot of football for Auburn. And, I know Auburn would love to have both back. And Malik Blockton, a guy who started for 2 years has played a lot and started over the past 2 years. And now you figure year 3, you're going to get the best of Malik Blockton, right? He's got all that SEC experience. You figure he comes back and he's a really special player year 3. Auburn's going to miss out on that now. And who am I missing?
What do you read
Mark
in
Williams?
Yeah. I'm glad you threw that in there before I interrupted you. What do you read into Byron Brown in the transfer portal? Ashton Daniels assured the Auburn family that he was going to stick around, and now he's not. What do the tea leaves tell you there, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, that's been going on since day one of the Golesh era. I felt like that Byron Brown was probably going to end up at Auburn, and that was going to shake up Auburn's quarterback room. So I'm not surprised. I think I think Byron Brown is probably the right move for this coaching staff, getting a guy who's experienced in the system for 3 years, who put up really good numbers at USF. And I haven't spoke to Byron, but I'm going to make a little bit of assumption that maybe he has a chip on his shoulder, or at least a little one, to want to prove himself at this level. If that's the case, that's a good move. And when you do that, you're going to have to, make room for him. And if Ashton Daniels wants to start, if he saved that year of eligibility to be the number one guy somewhere, then he needs to move on. So I think it's probably best for both players as far as that goes.
What does that mean for Deuce Knight?
Well, I think Auburn wants to keep Deuce Knight. Whether they could do that or not, we'll see. They can't pay him starting money. They're going to pay Byron Brown starting money. So, if there's another school out there that feels like he's a starter right away and they can offer that, I think it's going to be tough for Auburn to keep him, but we'll see.
Brian, back to some of the players that have announced they're going to the portal, and you said you were surprised by a few of them. Just trying to kind of understand it. Is it maybe that Alex Golesh didn't feel like he fit into his scheme or his plan, or did they not maybe like this new coaching staff, or was there not any money there? I'm sure Auburn fans are kind of wondering, well, why are these guys leaving?
I think it's mostly about money. I think they've already kind of spelled out that they're going to have a different model about how they pay players based more on production. So, I don't think they're going to be overpaying for guys who aren't, who have that potential, which I don't know how this is going to work. I'm not putting my rubber stamp on this plan, but that seems to be the plan. But then Jay Crawford and Kyle Lane have been pretty productive. So I just think they think they're worth more than Auburn's willing to offer them, and they want to take a look at least. I'm not ruling out any of these guys electing to return, if the market's not what they think it will.
Yeah.
But, I think most of these moves are going to be about the money. None of these guys are going somewhere to be starters. They would be starters at Auburn.
Yeah. It is interesting to think about all of that. I'm interested in, now that, we're a couple of weeks in, what has the response been on, the different message boards about how Golesh has conducted himself? How has he struck people? The general people, not just you and the people embedded with the program, but how is the Auburn fan base feeling about him right now?
I would say mixed, but we got to remember message boards. You get extremes a lot of times, right? It only takes a couple of, guys that aren't happy with whatever situation to, stir things up a little bit. But I think there's concern. I think people are frustrated because you've been through the worst stretch in Auburn history now, or tying for it with the 5 consecutive losing seasons, right? And if you look at what's going on right now, the 45th signing class in the country, you're losing a lot of starting type level players. I mean, even though you're not going to say that word, it looks every bit to me like a rebuilding job once again. Which nobody associated with Auburn wants to hear it. That just, that's not what Auburn people want. They're sick and tired of this. So I can understand.
Don't be preaching patience over patience. Please do not come in, Coach Golesh, and say we need some patience here.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
You mentioned message boards and how quickly they can change. Did you jump on Tighter Insider after the first series Friday night between Alabama and Oklahoma?
That's one of those. Man. That's one of those games in the first quarter. You're like, should I make a smart aleck tweet? Excuse me, should I make it? No, there. I better not. I better not. And I did. I did not.
Yeah, why not? Go ahead and see what happens. Yeah. Boy, you talking about that? Oh,
John's got that devil on one shoulder, and that ain't. Go ahead. Yeah, that kind.
So that's interesting, Brian. Rebuilding, and I'm just there again. I ask you about the transfer thing because I'm reading about it yesterday, and I'm thinking, man. Auburn's had a lot of players that have announced they're going to the transfer portal. Yeah. That's the first thing I'm thinking, well, who's going to replace them?
I mean, here's my thing. I wrote about it in my column. If you're not paying for a top recruiting class and you're not paying to retain maybe a third of the starters, we'll see what happens. I think there's a couple more that could jump in there. They're at 5 now. This better be, or I would assume, if you're going to have a $30 million roster, and you have all the money you need, but there we go.
Right.
That this is going to be one of the most incredible portal classes of all time, or this season. So we'll see what happens. I, of course, am skeptical, as you can tell from my voice, but we'll see. They will have to hit the portal really, really hard if they're going to have a above the midline SEC competitive type team and roster next year.
And for those of you who are listening into this show on Spotify, it is noteworthy that Brian did put air quotes in there.
I had to get them on the screen.
Wait,
where are they?
Yeah. The air quotes are critical to Brian's point right there. What did you think of the first round of the college football playoff? I love the aspect of the on-campus games. I thought Norman and College Station and Oxford and Eugene were outstanding.
Well, forgive me for saying something nice about Alabama, but going down 17-0 on the road in that atmosphere and then completely switching the momentum, I thought that was an incredible performance by them. So credit to them fully. I thought the other two games, or the two late games were, non-competitive type games, and A&M Miami. If you did what I did, and I was watching my Liverpool team play European soccer, and I turned over right in time for the fourth quarter, it was a great game. I didn't have to suffer through the first three quarters of it, but on campus, let's get some better teams in there. Let's get it going. Let's do 16 teams. Let's roll.
16. I didn't let that one slip past me.
Yeah, there's no air quotes there.
Yeah, I'm totally with you there. Now, I don't want to get into this JMU Tulane business. I think we've worn that out enough. But I did mention earlier today, I've heard a lot of these talking heads, national football analysts, they're not real happy about those teams being in the playoff. What's the future? I mean, I know they've got an agreement, but do you think some of this gets kind of tweaked and they go back to the boardroom and say, listen, we got to do this a different way, and we need the Notre Dames and Texases and teams like that in every year?
Yeah, I do think changes are coming. Yeah, and I think, the G5 just took advantage of the rules that the Power Four made, right? I mean, it's not their fault, but
there were the rules.
I think a lot of people were a little frustrated with it. It was fun when it was happening that the ACC or I guess ACC champ didn't get in, and two G5s did. But I think the Big Ten and SEC are going to push to change that, and we'll see if they'll still have room for a G5 or not. I think I mentioned on your show before, but I'd love to see a G5 playoff. I really would. And if a G5 team is the top 16 teams in the country or whatever, put them in there. They deserve it. But if not, let's let those guys play for a championship.
Update us a little bit, if you would, Brian. The basketball team, they've played some really good competition. They've played, I think, 3 top 10 teams so far, and they lost all 3 of those games really badly. It's hard to gain a full perspective. They have played really well, but against the top teams, they have not been competitive. What do you think about the trajectory of Stephen Pearl's program?
Yeah, it's 4: Houston, Arizona, Michigan, and
Purdue.
And now Purdue, right? And the really only one that was really, really close was Houston. That was a 1-point loss.
Right.
I actually am seeing some progress. And I think the schedule was a little bit too tough for this team. I really do. So I wouldn't be too down. I think at least 2 of the teams, Michigan and Arizona, are in, they look like Final Four teams already to me. We'll see what they look like in February, March, but they look terrific. And, Houston with that coach is going to get a lot better over the course of the season. And Purdue, if they play like that and shoot like that, they're going to beat just about anybody on their schedule. So I still think Auburn can be competitive in the SEC. I looked it up. And Kim Palm last year, the SEC had 4 of the top 6 in their rankings, including Auburn. Right now, or at least a couple of days ago when I looked it up, Vanderbilt was highest ranked in Kim Palm. They were number 8. So the league is not close to as good as it was a year ago. It's still good, but it's just not as good. So I think that could be an opportunity for a team like Auburn to come together, to take a couple steps forward with the 10 newcomers and maybe be competitive. Certainly, probably not an SEC championship team, right? But but certainly not a team that's going to lose every tight game. And
Right.
the other thing I would remind Auburn folks who are watching, Auburn did beat Oregon in Las Vegas. They did beat St. John's, number 14 St. John's in Las Vegas. They did beat NC State. So they have some good wins already. So, I think this team can still be pretty competitive and get better with all those newcomers coming together a little bit more.
And you hear people all the time saying these games this time of year usually pay dividends in March. You've been road tested. You played some of the tougher competition. It's not going to surprise you in March.
Yeah, I agree. And Auburn will not face a team in the SEC as good as Michigan or Arizona for sure. And we'll see how many, Houstons and our Purdue's are in this SEC. I don't know, but I agree. You would love to see more progress. You lose by 28 at Purdue or in Indianapolis, but there was 11-0 late run that kind of made that a little bit farther away than it should have been. And I thought Purdue just shot the lights out,
Yeah.
So, they deserve the credit. I think maybe some things that were said about the previous year's game, which Auburn won pretty handily, probably fired them up pretty much.
In this great country of ours, we salute all the people who have to work through the holidays, all of the first responders, firefighters, essential personnel, and collegiate website administrators as well. You guys don't take a break during the holidays. There's always stuff being cranked out, particularly at auburnsports.com. Right, Brian?
If I was prepared for that lead, I would crank open a Budweiser right now and
just
plug it down.
There we go.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But yes, we are.
This
Our Bud
Bud's
Light.
for you.
Yeah, that's right. But, I'm about to put up a story as soon as we get off here, and we will continue to have plenty of coverage of the portal. That'll be the biggest thing. It officially opens January 2nd.
Yes.
And goes until I think the 16th, something like that. So, and Auburn is going to have to move really quickly. So you're going to see things really pop in the second, third, fourth, fifth. It's going to be really, really busy. So stay tuned for that. And of course, we'll have tons of coverage of basketball, anything else happening sports-wise, auburnsports.com. Follow me on Twitter /X at BMattAU.
Awesome stuff. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas, Brian. Thank you.
Hey, happy holidays. Merry Christmas to you guys, everybody out there. Appreciate it.
Thank you, buddy. Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com, joining us today as he does each and every Tuesday. Another great segment. Check him out. Great work. Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com. Portal, January 2nd. That's interesting. It's going to be a really, really hectic day, an interesting day. That'll be buried the day after Alabama plays Indiana in the Rose Bowl. I wonder what's going to be going on with the Crimson Tide's roster.
Yeah.
On January 2nd, win or lose.
I think they get a little bit of an extra window if you're actually playing in the college football playoff. But you'd like to have people coming in.
Yeah.
All of this that we're talking about, January 2nd, and it runs through whenever Auburn loses. All of this stuff is all part of a plan. If you as a school are waiting for the portal to open, okay, it's open. All right, what do we have here? Then you are losing. You know ahead of time, even if they haven't announced it, who's going to be in the portal from other schools that you're interested in, which one of your guys. Look, Auburn would not let Ashton Daniels go without a fight of some sort, a small fight.
Yeah.
If they didn't have a plan in place. If they did, they know what they're going to do at quarterback.
Yeah.
They have a good idea what Deuce Knight's going to do. They already know what Ashton Daniels going to do. They already know what Byron Brown's going to do. Alabama knows what they need, what's going to be in the portal, how much they are prepared to offer them, all this stuff. Basically, what the portal is, it's not a free-for-all because everybody already has a plan of what they're going to do once it opens.
Yeah, I think the fans and websites are freaking out. I don't think these coaching staffs are freaking out.
They better not.
They know what's coming. They know what they're looking for.
And they know how much they can spend for it.
Yeah.
It's all just executing that plan.
Now, one thing, though, Barry, a rebuilding year, that ain't what Auburn fans want to hear.
No. Whatever you do, Coach Golish, whatever you do. I mean, you can make fun of Alabama, or you can talk about, family and all that. That's great. Do not say the word rebuilding.
No.
Auburn fans are sick to hear of that word. And if you're telling them, look, we need another couple or 3 years, there you go. There's profanities coming up. In our next hour, we've got not only Travis Ryer, Ryer on YouTube, but also in the next hour, ships come in. It's going to be Rodney Orr, the Tiger Insider, as well. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Marguerite's has done it again. Famous for their $99 Christmas special, and Lyle has come up with the best I have ever seen. Half-carat stud diamonds, $99. That's right. Half-carat stud diamonds, just $99. But there's a limit of 3. So you need to hurry out to Marguerite's in Peppertree on Vaughn Road, adjacent to Chappie's Deli. Marguerite's, of course, is open extended days and hours during the Christmas holiday shopping season. So make sure to take advantage of this year's incredible Christmas $99 special. Half-carat diamond studs, just $99 from Marguerite's exquisite jewelry. They make it. They really make it at Marguerite's.
This is the famous Budweiser beer, brewed with the choicest ingredients since 1876. 139 holidays strong, decking the halls in an 8-horse open sleigh, aged over beechwood for a crisp, smooth finish. Anyone can jingle all the way. Only Budweiser can macro all the way. Budweiser, this Bud's for you. Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Wrap Up the Year sales event is on at Stivers. Grand Cherokees and 3-row Grand Cherokee L's under 30 grand. Wranglers 16 grand off. And Gladiators 14 grand off.
Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where Price sells new cars and trucks in Prattville.
The Wrap Up the Year sales event is on at Stivers with great deals on new Rams like 0% for 6 years. Laramie's up to 18 grand off. Bighorns up to 17 grand off. And Heavy Duties 12 grand off.
Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where Price sells new cars and trucks in Prattville.
Okay, welcome back in. A couple of minutes at the top of the hour. Travis Ryer on YouTube, scheduled to join us here. I don't know if I want to ask him first about the Jags or the Tide, but I'm sure we'll just address both of those teams.
They will be open. Both of those questions will be addressed.
Yes.
You can guarantee that.
That will happen.
How do Bama fans feel? We will address these with our 2 Alabama guests in the next hour. We also will address it ourselves as the game draws nigh. Again, tempo, pacing.
Yes.
We have a little time. Remember, it ain't like they play this weekend. It is a week from Thursday.
Yeah, gotta pace yourself. Pace yourself.
Somebody did ask this, John.
Okay.
I noticed in the Oklahoma game, again, on campus, I love the on-campus.
I do too. I'm with you there. I do like the on-campus.
There were not a lot of Bama fans there. They got kind of squeezed in the tickets. I wonder what it's going to be like in the Rose Bowl. And I know the Indiana fans are going to show up. Indiana fans are nuts right now, with good reason. Number 1 in the country. You kidding me? Big Ten champions, number 1 overall seed in the college football playoff. My brother and sister who live in Bloomington, and my brother-in-law and my sister who live in Bloomington and are professors at IU. Place is nuts. They're going to be there. Bama fans. What about you? You gonna make
I would think the ticket distribution would be a little more even since it's not on campus.
I would.
We had talked the week prior to the game. I mean, I heard some numbers that were just ridiculous in terms of tickets that Alabama was offered or was able to get. I mean, the numbers were really, really low, lower than I would have imagined. I didn't know anybody that went. I didn't know any Alabama fans that went to the game. Obviously, there were. I don't know everybody, but usually I know somebody going on a road trip. Did not know anybody that went to Norman for that game. So it will be interesting. Now, 100,000 seats. Are some of the locals going to go to the game? Yes.
We talked about this yesterday because Warren was, he's been to the Rose Bowl. And I've been to the Rose Bowl. It's been 11 years since I've been to the Rose Bowl, but I liked it. I didn't have any problem with it. I mean, I came in through the main entrance and into the auxiliary press area down below and everything. It's beautiful. I had a great time. Evidently, there's a lot of people who think the Rose Bowl is a dump, including Warren. I'm thinking, you kidding me? I mean, you can smell the college football history.
Well, the stadium is a dump. It's a beautiful atmosphere. Don't get me wrong. The golf course around it, the San Gabriel Mountains in the background. The press box is phenomenal. Don't get me wrong there. But the seating area and the concessions and the restroom facilities, little outdated.
Oh. All right. Well, Bama fans,
outdated.
You better show up because I guarantee you, anybody who has ever attended Indiana or watched Indiana, Connor O'Gara, I bet, is going to be at that game. He famously had a drop-in on our show a couple of weeks ago with his Indiana hoodie on. He went to school in Indiana, and, he works in college football now, covering college football. He says when he was at IU, he used to go to every game. He used to tailgate out in front, and when it came time for kickoff, he'd pack up his stuff, put his beer back in the cooler, head back to the house to watch the game, watch the other games.
Yeah.
That's weird, right?
Yeah.
Weird.
I think it's going to be interesting, Barry. I mean, there again, Bama fans have made a lot of trips lately, whether it's for a national championship game, playoff, whatever. Been to the Rose Bowl. So, are they eager and excited and giddy to get back out there? Yeah, I'm sure there's some. Not as many as there have been in years past, I wouldn't think. We'll have more on that maybe after the Christmas break. But, I don't know what the ticket distribution is. I'll find that out today. I think that's interesting. I will say this, though, Barry. I don't want to sound like an old geezer, but when Indiana and Alabama do play, I sure hope they get a better officiating crew than the one they had in Norman Friday night. Those guys were pathetic on both sides of the ball. I mean, they missed more penalties. I'm thinking, what are these guys looking at? I'm 1,000 miles away, and I can see it. I think they were Big Ten officials. Could they not have gotten SEC officials for that game? What was up with that?
What? Officiating?
It was terrible. And I'm not pointing out one particular play. Well, there was one play that I think the Jeremy Bernard catch, Alabama's right tackle jumped 2 seconds before the snap of the ball.
Oh, I do remember. Okay. I do remember one. There's that one. Yeah.
But I'm thinking, what are these people looking at? And I think I heard Fowler say, these officials are from the Big Ten. I'm thinking, the Big Ten? Well, what the hell is the Big Ten doing in Norman, Oklahoma? You got to be kidding me. I thought the officiating was subpar.
Big Ten officials are not worthy of calling a game involving two Southeastern Conference.
I didn't say that. I just thought it was interesting, that they were Big Ten officials officiating two SEC games, and I don't care if they were from the Big Sky. They still weren't any good. I just happened to find out they were from the Big Ten.
Now,
I'm not dumping on them because they're from the Big Ten. I just know that that's where they're from.
As we bring in Travis Reier, the timing, we gotta update the timing a little bit. Travis Reier on YouTube. Yesterday was the day. I kind of wish Travis had. I wish I had thought about this. It's not on Travis because yesterday was the day I wore my Jacksonville Jaguars sweatshirt. I decided not to go with my Brunel jersey because it was a little cooler, and I went with the Jacksonville Jaguars sweatshirt. We bring him in. Today is a big day because today is John's birthday, and we're now a day removed from the Jaguars ending the 11-game winning streak of the Denver Broncos. How are things in Northeast Florida these days, Travis?
They're giddy. They're
unexpectedly
Giddy.
And you must have been up in the attic, Barry, getting Christmas decorations down to get all that Jaguar gear. After the last
it's been a
couple
while.
of years.
It did smell like mothballs. I'll grant you that. No question.
Oh, there's a lot of Jaguar gear out right now. A lot of license tags and things that are freshly mounted here in the last week or two. So they're very much back in lockstep with the Jags.
And the Jaguars players have made it known they don't want any bandwagon fans.
No.
You haven't been with them since the beginning. They don't want you now.
Yeah, well, I still don't think that's an issue for the Jags.
Well,
but
it was a big win, as Barry mentioned. Of course, snapping that winning streak that Denver was on, playing on the road. 11 wins in the AFC South. I got to tell you that the Jags snuck up on me. I went 11 wins. You got to be kidding me.
Yeah, the thing is, they've had pieces. As bad as they were for the last season and a half, really, they still had pieces to be a playoff contending type of team, playoff relevant, not a Super Bowl contender, but it just, to me, it underscores how they never should have been as bad as they were. And I know the new regime has done some good things in terms of the Jacoby Myers addition and, the offensive line additions, things like that. But, a lot of their core pieces are still the same guys that, they were 4-13 with a year ago.
All right, Travis, the big question. Travis Ryer on YouTube, which is Second Helping and Talking Tide, No Sleep Teal. He deals with a lot of stuff on the YouTube channel. Alabama wins in Norman 34-24 after the fans were just about to light the torches and bring out the pitchforks when they're down 17-0 early into the second period. What changed? Was it anything specific or what?
It was almost inexplicable because it did have the feeling in the moment of being a regime-altering sort of sequence that was unfolding last Friday night in Norman. But they go on, they somehow go on a 75-yard touchdown march, down 17-0. And the best thing for them to that point was that there was still a lot of time left in the game. As bad as they were in the first quarter and change, there was still like 11 minutes left in the second quarter after OU went up 17-0. And give Alabama a lot of credit. They found something offensively, and more than anything, they found Lonnie Brooks. I mean, he converts the big third down, the big fourth down for a touchdown. And even at 17-7, it felt like a Band-Aid more than anything. But, boy, for the rest of that quarter, everything came up roses, so to speak, for Alabama, and off they go to Pasadena.
And there's no doubt, Travis, I mean, there were some sequences that certainly helped Alabama out. Some self-inflicted wounds by Oklahoma, the muffed punt, the wide open, the guy's wide open that Mateer can't get the ball to. But, hey, that's all part of the game. We've seen it throughout the entire season with Alabama and a lot of their opponents. But I just thought the adjustments that this staff made, to me in the second half, it was just like a totally different football team.
Yeah, defensively, I think it really started in the second quarter, and especially with the pick six, because really up to that point, Mateer was confident, he was decisive, he was believing what his eyes were telling him and what his process was telling him. After he got baited and tricked into that interception and that pick six by Xavier Brown, it just felt like it was a more hesitant John Mateer. He still came back and made a heck of a throw there in the fourth quarter on that crossing route to Deion Burks for a touchdown. But other than that, you saw a guy that just wasn't as sure of himself, I didn't think. And that resulted in some holding the ball just a little bit longer. And I think that had as much to do with Alabama's pass rush becoming more of an issue. And Alabama did a good enough job against the run eventually. the quarterback runs were problematic early, but in terms of dealing with the OU backs and then eventually doing a better job on Mateer, they did that, and they kind of put themselves in a position to be able to make OU one-dimensional, and that's a good thing when you got a quarterback that's, again, kind of dealing with some things in terms of his confidence after a hot start.
I'm looking at the game, as it's going along, not taking notes, just watching. And I do end up seeing that Ryan Williams was targeted 3 times. They threw to him 3 times. He dropped a couple, caught 1, 5 yards. And then I look at Lotzier Brooks, like you mentioned him, a freshman, and I'm thinking, where has that kid been? That kid's a star, Travis.
He certainly has the look of it. He is dynamic, but he's one of those guys, kind of like Jeremy Bernard, but a different body type a little bit and maybe skill set, that you feel like, if you wanted to, you could line him up at other positions and he would do good things. He's a football player. It's cliche and all that, and he's obviously built for big moments. And he stepped forward, no doubt about it. It is a mystery with Ryan Williams, and I'm not sure we'll ever get it figured out. Maybe in the off season we get it figured out, but who knows what the big picture holds for Ryan Williams. So that may not be the case where Alabama's even concerned.
Yeah.
They did some things to try to specifically get him involved. You had the sack early in the game of Ty when they lined Ryan up in the backfield. Looked like they wanted to throw him a little quick screen out to the right, but OU had that pretty much of, and Ty tries to come back to his left. It was a little bit of a split screen, but Kip Lewis is coming on the pressure and ends up getting the sack, and then you get it blocked up really well against the 6-man pressure there. I want to say in the third quarter, Jan Miller does a really good job of helping in pass pro. You got 6-on-6. You got it accounted for. Ball's coming out on a third down from Ty. And, Ryan's got to make that catch, and he can't. He comes up short. So, in terms of his target numbers and things like that, it leads me to think this isn't just a game day situation. He's not just getting the game day yet. It must be an issue that's extended into the practice week, because if it wasn't, there would be more specific things lined up for Ryan Williams. And really,
we lost him.
Ooh. Well, so Travis, your thoughts about how big having Josh Cuevas on the field Friday night was?
I think it was obviously important because you could influence that Oklahoma defense in some ways. There's an accountability that's required when Josh Cuevas is on the field. He is a legitimate option in that offense and the different ways that he can do it. And we saw him do it again against Oklahoma. He ripped the seam there for an explosive play, and he still didn't look really close to 100% to me, but he was enough. And I think that was a benefit for them, especially once they started working outside the numbers in the passing game, which is something they were going to have to do. To extend their season beyond Oklahoma, they were going to have to hit on some of those corner routes that they hit on with Lottie Brooks on the big third down early, and then the touchdown in the third quarter. Those were the type of throws. Isaiah Horton on the go ball coverage, the play by Jeremy Bernard down inside the 10, the great catch. Those are the things that it seems like more and more defenses are sort of daring them to hit. And in hitting those, I thought they were able to still get back to the middle of the field some. Isaiah Horton on a dig route. We talked about Josh Cuevas. But, just having Cuevas and how he lends versatility to your offense, you don't have to really be specific in how you go with your personnel groupings, because you can do so many different things with him. I think he puts a stress on the defense that they've got some young tight ends. Caleb Edwards is going to be a good player, but not just yet, and that's what Cuevas gives them.
The running game totaled 28 yards in that one. Interesting tweet from Michael Casagrande. He says Alabama gained fewer than 300 total yards in each of the last 3 games. That hasn't happened since 2006, the last year of the Mike Shula era. Is there anything they can do? Because they just simply have got to play better against Indiana to have a chance there.
Yeah, that or they're going to have to come up really big defensively with return yards off interceptions. And it's a fascinating stat. It's been a desert of sorts for this Alabama offense down the stretch. And you kind of anticipated it coming because we talked about coming out of October and how the stakes were going to go up in terms of competition in November defensively. So that certainly was a factor, or has been a factor. And, that's kind of how they survived OU. They did it in a way that OU did it to Alabama and Tuscaloosa. We talked about OU, which is 220 total yards, but between the punt return in that game by Satania and the pick 6 of 87 yards, that's another 130 yards. It doesn't go on total offense, but it certainly impacts the game. And, that's what Alabama basically did in this game last Friday night. Xavier Brown, 50 return yards on the interception. Not getting tackled by Mateer was huge.
Yep.
Getting into the end zone and not having to play offense from the red zone against that defense was huge. And then you think about the yards on the punt muff. If the punt gets off and it's a 40, 45-yard punt, that's another 45, 50 yards that you add to what Alabama has to deal with. So Alabama benefited from it. They really did. From that perspective, it was just a total role reversal from the first meeting.
Travis, I know we're going to talk more in detail about this next week, but I'm just curious your early thoughts about facing Indiana in the Rose Bowl.
I think, I watched Indiana against Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. Very impressive. There's not – I'm not saying they're going to be successful in what they do, but they are who they are, and they know it, and they have an offensive balance. I enjoyed watching Indiana, Ohio State, because it felt like I was watching offenses from 15, 16 years ago. I felt like I was watching Jim McElwain dial it up again, when he was with Kurt Signetti at Alabama. And look, it works. If you got a quarterback and you got a run game like that, you can have a lot of success. And defensively, IU is very disruptive. They've had a key injury up front with Stephen Daly. 19 tackles for loss for him. And in the post game, I guess, against Ohio State, or after Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game, in the celebration, he suffers some sort of freak injury, and it looks like he's out. So, that's beneficial to Alabama because he is a 19 tackles for loss guy in 13 games. But Sig's got that thing going, man. And I think in some ways it's almost like you wanted to see Saban era Alabama against Kalen DeBoer era Alabama. I think it's going to have that feel in more than a couple of areas of that game.
Okay, so if I'm looking at this correctly, the Jags on the road again, going up against 44-year-old Phillip Rivers on Sunday.
Isn't that a story?
Man, do they keep the winning? Man, they got the Colts, and then I believe they have the Titans. They could win the next 2 for 13 wins in the regular season.
Yeah, really probably on the outside looking in at the 1 seed, but the 2 seed is still there, I think, and absolutely. You're going to find out more about this team in terms of trustworthiness. I think at this point you almost have to trust them because of what we've seen during the 6-game win streak. But it's been problematic for them in Indianapolis. So it's never quite as easy as you want it to be when you go away from your home park. And, this is back-to-backs for them. But, man, they've undergone really a resurgence, especially since the acquisition of Jacoby Myers. And not just because of what he brings to that receiver position in terms of production. And, you know, obviously Trevor's very comfortable with him. But from what I understand, just in that locker room, within that young wide receiver room, dynamically, he's everything you want from an intangibles perspective. Just the best guy to have right now from a leadership perspective, even though he's new to that. So you got to trust the Jags here, but I still don't think it's going to be easy. And, you know, they got Jonathan Taylor has gashed them in games played in Indy in the past. So, you know, we'll see if they can deal with him first and foremost, and then, you know, shift their focus to really getting after Rivers with the pass rush.
The YouTube channel, Travis Reier on YouTube already. I think it was yesterday, CFP Second Watch. Last night you were live with Chase Goodbread on Talking Tide, which all of that is available on the channel now. How do people access it all and don't miss a bit of the content and the breakdown?
Yeah, we're right there on YouTube. The channel, as you said, is Reier on YouTube. Check us out there. We're also on X at Travis Reier, TravisReier. We did, to your point, have an edition of Talking Tide last night on the channel on YouTube, Reier on YouTube with Chase Goodbread, sports columnist for the Tuscaloosa News, and we'll have some more stuff as we move throughout the week.
Awesome. Travis, thank you as always, my man. We appreciate it. Merry Christmas to you and yours. And, man, we'll talk next week.
Sounds good. Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas, buddy. Travis. Travis Reier on YouTube, on X at Travis Reier. It's great stuff. Good breakdown. Very fair about, what Alabama is facing coming up. And
I didn't realize, Barry, until you dropped those rushing numbers at me. That's a stat that I somehow overlooked. Another dismal night when it comes to running the ball for the Crimson Tide. When is that going to bite them? Will it bite them in Pasadena?
Part of it, I mean, it hurt because, Simpson got sacked 4 times.
Yeah.
But even without the sacks, they only had 73 yards. That is 3 straight games for Alabama with less than 300 yards of total offense. That hasn't happened since Shula's last year in 2006.
That is, I don't know who's worse, that or, well, I'm going to transition slowly into that. We talked a little bit about the NFL.
Yes.
Did you happen to notice one of the teams that's going to be playing on Christmas Day that's been eliminated from the playoffs, but for some reason we got to watch the Cowboys on Thursday? I mean, could the Jags not play Thursday?
I know, really? Right? IKR. Why not? How about a little feature of somebody who actually is good? I actually agree on this Cowboys take from John with all my heart. Coming up day after tomorrow, Christmas Day, the Cowboys and the Commanders are a combined 10, 19, and 1, and we got to watch them.
And I hear people say, well, they're not any good, or why do they put them on, or why? I can't explain it, folks. I just cannot. Something about that star attracts people to a TV screen, kind of like a golden helmet.
Yeah. There's something to be said for being good. And John's like, hey, the TV networks. Well, what about having a good team? Does that matter? Man.
Yes, that doesn't matter. I mean, the Cowboys could be over, and they're going to put them on.
For you Bama fans or for you fans of quality content, we've got not only Travis Reier this hour, we've got Rodney Orr. He's coming up in about 6 or 7, 10 minutes, something like that. From TiderInsider.com. Plus, Phantom Daily Dog.
The Daily Dog is about to, that's next. I see the Daily Dog is on deck, so stick around for that. We'll get that to you as well. Hey, we're Longshore McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News and yellowhammernews.com. You can check us out at yellowhammernews.com. Video content, a write-up about today's show each and every afternoon. Also on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on X, on Spotify, on Apple Tunes. Wherever you listen or watch, we are there. We appreciate it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button.
It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Get a head start on holiday travel with Montgomery Regional Airport. Book early and save big on flights to your favorite holiday destinations. Whether you're visiting family or living out your dream stay, you can count on MGM to take you there. Fly easy, fly MGM.
Summer's here, and so too are its many challenges. Heat that won't quit, beers that won't fit, hammocks that won't hammock, screen doors that appear out of nowhere, flips that flop a little too much. That's why it's important to keep it simple. Keep it cool, keep them coming, and keep it easy. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light.
Prattville Carpet is the most trusted name in flooring in the River region. Ray Bowles and his staff have an extensive line of Mohawk, stain-resistant carpeting in all the latest styles and colors. Prattville Carpet also has hardwood, vinyl, and ceramic tile for all of your flooring needs. Professionally installed at the absolute lowest prices. Take advantage of cash and carry vinyl plank at just $239 a foot. Call them today to set up your free measurement for your home, office, lake house, hunting camp, or wherever you need flooring. 285-8117. That's 285-8117, or drop by 2201 Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville for Prattville Carpet. The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. You know, many well-known restaurants in the River region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272. Okay, welcome back in, everybody. About 26 minutes past the hour. A couple of folks I want to recognize today. So many people out there with the nice birthday wishes. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. But I want to thank you all because without you all, we're not here. So thank you, the viewer, the listener, hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button. We really appreciate it. It's been a great 2+ years, and we're going to keep it going strong because of you. So thank you so much. Of course, Robbie in Greenville, thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. Longtime viewer and listener, Dennis Mitchell. Appreciate it. Tobias out in Arizona. Love it. Awesome. And how about this guy, John from Wetumpka?
Question, John. If Alabama loses, then in the Bama world, isn't the Auburn season and the Bama season pretty much the same success since neither won a championship? if it truly is indeed that if you're not hoisting a crystal trophy, your season has been a failure.
Well, you know, John, I think it's kind of a new era out there. The college football landscape has changed somewhat. Now, I find it amusing that you're comparing two programs, one of them that's had, 5 straight losing seasons or something of that nature and whatever, and multiple coaches and rebuilding years, as they say.
Yeah.
But I think right in this day and age, John, and it could change, particularly if we expand, but it's all about making the playoff. Said it all season long. You got to make the playoff. And if you're a program like Alabama and you don't make the playoff, it is not going to be good. And if you make the playoff and are one and done, as we talked about last week, it's not going to be good for your current head coach. Kalen DeBoer winning last Friday night was not only big for the program, just from a feel-good standpoint, but kind of to get the heat off DeBoer. You got to go out and beat this team. They've beaten you twice already in a year. You can't let them beat you 3 times in a 12, 13-month period. And he did that. And they made the adjustments to do it. So I think Bama fans are kind of playing on house money. Now, they don't need to go to Pasadena and lose by 3 touchdowns. But if they lose in a close game, I don't think Bama fans are going to be that disappointed. If they win, whoo, that's even more house money.
That's a change. John says, things have changed. That's a change. Because I know I didn't realize that just winning a game in the playoff is all you need.
Well,
you just win a game in the playoff and we're fine. We won a game.
I think if Nick Saban was still there, it would not be the case.
So you lower the bar a little bit, Bama fans. Lower it just a little bit. You gotta
lower the bar. You're hitting the reset button. You're resetting and you're setting everything back up for another long, lengthy, dominating run in hopes of going, well, if we don't win it all, this season's done. And this was a wasted season. They're not there yet. They had to reset and reboot. And there again, they've made the playoff. They've won a playoff game. As I said last week, they're 2-0 against LSU, 2-0 against Auburn, 2-1 against Georgia, split with Tennessee. Not too bad.
But it's not too bad. Is that the standard now?
No, definitely not the standard.
It's like
no.
Bob from Pike Road. Bob from Pike Road says, in response to that dumb question by an Auburn fan, has Auburn made the playoff? Has Auburn had an 11-win season? Has Auburn won a 10th playoff game? Has Auburn beaten its rival 6 years in a row? Actually, Auburn has. Hadn't happened recently, but it has happened before.
Well,
but is that the standard, though?
Well, you got to factor this in. During the Saban run, how many times was Alabama the preseason number 1 team?
A bunch.
How many times were they in the top 3?
A lot.
So you expected them to win it. Now, so much they're not even in the preseason top 5. So maybe the fan base has had to kind of, take a hard lump. There are this does happen sometimes in football, but there again, I think Bama fans can feel a little better about their program because
that's important.
They won a playoff game. If they beat Indiana in the road, this will be the 100th, and everything's setting up. 100th anniversary, 1926. They go out there and beat Washington in the Rose Bowl. Southern football is born. 18 national championships later, and they're going back 100 years to go play in the Rose Bowl yet again. And this could be the start of what happened 100 years ago with Kalen DeBoer. They beat Indiana. Could be the start of something big and beautiful for the Crimson Tide Nation.
The start? Has well, the rationalizations have totally blown away our segment on the Phantom's Daily Dog. We'll get Rodney Orr.
I can do that for you real quick. Barry had lunch yesterday.
Let's get all the other stuff out of the way, the lowering the bar. Let's go ahead and get into the
I never said lowering the bar. I said reset button.
Be happy. They can be happy with this.
There's a reset
He
button.
actually said they can feel good about themselves.
Yeah. I think you can feel good. Here's the Daily Dog quickly, Barry. I'm taking Southern Miss plus the 1.5 against Western Kentucky, 4:30 this afternoon in New Orleans. I don't even know if this bowl game's got a sponsor.
I think it does.
I think it's just the New Orleans Bowl.
Yeah,
I'm taking Southern Miss for one reason, Barry. Yesterday, I had lunch at Mother's on Poydras. I had the roast beef debris po' boy, and sitting next to me was a group of Southern Miss fans. I said, what the hell? We're going to take Southern Miss as the dog today. Yep. 1.5 in the New Orleans Bowl.
One of 3 games today, but that's the one that sticks out with the Phantom on the Phantom's Daily Dog. Rodney Orr is next. Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Stivers Ford of Montgomery has Bronco Sports for $8,000 off, Broncos for $10,000 off, or take advantage of the sign and drive lease offer with $399 for 36 or 48 months and 0 down payment.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
Stivers Ford of Montgomery has F-150 16 grand off or 0% for 66 months. Even Lightning's 16 grand off or 0% for 75 months. And Super Duty's 12 grand off.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level, and the stakes, oh, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at Riverbank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. Riverbank and Trust. Okay, we got about 25 minutes at the top of the hour and a special guest today, special edition of Rodney or the Tider Insider, because his normal Thursday is Christmas, and we're not going to be here that day. Rodney, thanks for adjusting your schedule today. Really appreciate you being on with us. And, of course, our good friends at the Destin Connection Seafood Market bring Rodney to you each and every week.
How are you guys today?
We're doing well. It's John's birthday today, so he's doing
Happy birthday,
really well.
John. Is that the reason for this? I'm trying to make it. What is that jacket? Is that a Budweiser? What is that?
How do you like that, Rodney?
I mean, I can barely tell. You're in such a little small. Yeah, that's. I didn't know if it was Budweiser, Ohio State. I just see the red and the gray or whatever.
Yeah. A lot of history with this coat. Thought I'd wear it on my birthday today.
Yes. Yes. All right.
Yeah. What a commercial.
That's
what it's all about.
Let's get down to brass tacks here. Alabama down 17-0, heading into a good ways into the second quarter against Oklahoma. The open forum is absolutely melting down on FighterInsider.com, and it changed. How did it change?
Man, you talking about melting down. I mean, my phone, the calls, the text messages, I mean, seriously, they were like, let's fire this guy now. Okay. This is the worst performance I've seen from Alabama in many, many years. Okay. So what I was thinking the whole time was, again, it was early in the game. Alabama just needs to make one play to kind of get some momentum. And I think that one play was the third down throw to Latsier Brooks. He catches the ball falling down backwards. That got Alabama a first down, got them some momentum a little bit, got them a little kind of their feet on the ground. They drive down, and then Latsier makes a great play, great effort to get into the end zone there on that touchdown. And then obviously the next big play to me was the throw from Mateer on third down to Xavier Robinson down the field. First of all, he should have caught the ball and maybe walked in for a touchdown. He drops it, but Mateer could have easily kept that ball and walked in. I walked in for a first down. Yeah.
Yep.
So, that's the big play there. And then on the next play, of course, they drop the snap. The punter drops the snap. Grayson Miller drops the snap. And it kind of starts the snowball on them. They get the pick six, Alabama does. And then all of a sudden in the third quarter, they drive down and hit Brooks again for a touchdown. And Alabama just dominated pretty much from there on out. So it was kind of a crazy turnaround, that we saw. But, here's the crazy thing about it, to be honest with you, is the whole script flip from Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
I mean, Alabama dominated the game here statistically, but turned the ball over repeatedly 3 times, produced 17 points for Oklahoma. They won the game. This time, Oklahoma actually outgains Alabama. They turn the ball over, and, Alabama benefits from it.
Rodney, we have not even talked about that today, but that play that you're talking about with Mateer, they showed an end zone view of that play. You could have landed a 747 on that field. There was nobody. And I'm thinking, all he's got to do is run,
Just
7-8
get the first
yards,
down.
pick up a first down. I'm thinking,
I think it was 3 yards, John.
Yeah.
You only need 3 or 4 yards for a first down. And he's got it. Like I said, he could have just easily scrambled for it. And, looking at the running back, Xavier Robinson downfield, is a 235, 40-pound running back. The guy just looked like he had no hands. I'm sure Mateer should have known, hey, this guy's maybe not the most dependable receiver. Keep the ball, get the first down, and let's go. But it is what it is. Those things happen. And, again, I think Alabama certainly benefited from some of the mistakes. But I'll say this, and I mean this. I would tell you, if I thought differently, it's not a homer viewpoint. I've always thought, watching these two games, both times they were on the field, that Alabama was a better football team than Oklahoma. I mean, Oklahoma's pretty good defensively, but I just thought overall Alabama was a better football team just watching them on the field.
You bring up the one thing, and we categorize games in this way and that way. I look at that game, and to me, that is the entree into society of Latsier Brooks. We mentioned this. Ryan Williams had 3 targets, I think, and he dropped 2. Made 1 5-yard catch. Latsier Brooks plays harder than Ryan Williams does, more physical than Ryan Williams has ever been. I was wondering, where in the world has this kid been, and what in the world is his ceiling? Goodness gracious, good.
Yeah, the New Jersey Flash. He's from Millville, New Jersey. This guy, man, he was in high school. I actually had a connection to one of his coaches, and when he was being recruited, he was only like a 3-star at the time, and the coach said, "Listen, totally disregard these stars." He said, "This kid does not care about camps. He won't go to camps. He doesn't care about the star system. He doesn't care what he's ranked. He just wants to play football. He's tough. He's hard-nosed." Listen, he set a bunch of records up there. I think he scored 22 touchdowns in 1 year, 24. I mean, the guy's been explosive, was explosive in high school. He's a man among boys. Got down here, he's had several big plays. He had a big play against Missouri on 4th down earlier this year. He's had some plays, but these were the first 2 times he got into the end zone. He's really tough. He's got a lot of skills, and he's focused. And I think that's really one thing that sets him apart.
Yeah, things you just can't coach. I mean, heart,
can't
character,
coach. Want to.
Yeah, it's just the want to. That's right, Rodney. Yep. What is this week and next week playing out for in terms of practice schedule? Did they get to go home for Christmas for a day or two? How's it all playing out as they get ready to head out to California?
Yeah, John, that's a great question because I don't know. I haven't. Maybe I got the schedule today. I haven't been able to check yet. I know that of course, obviously, DeBoer had Cignetti had the Rose Bowl press conference yesterday, pre-Rose Bowl preview. I mean, I'm sure they're going to start here, if not today, tomorrow sometime. And then they may break a little bit. Let the guys closer to home maybe go. I don't know if they're going to allow them to go home, the guys closer to home like Saban did or not. There hadn't really been any clarification that I've seen on that. But, they got to get going here, obviously, pretty soon. And, it's so different. Because back in the day, they would have gone out to Pasadena for, a week before, practiced out there 3 or 4 days. They'd had all those events that you go to. Now it's just different because guess what? You play in the Rose Bowl and your season's not over if you win. It is if you lose. It's not like the typical bowl game. So, because you're advancing in the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see how that schedule unfolds.
We mentioned this, and I only mention this because of perspective. Alabama against Oklahoma had 260 yards of total offense, just 28 rushing yards. Michael Casagrande put on Twitter that it's the 3rd straight game that Alabama has had less than 300 yards of total offense, which hasn't happened in Tuscaloosa since 2006. Mike Shula's final year. I know it's late. I know it's late in the year. This is about to be game 15 for Alabama. How have they been winning? How have they been successful this season without the offensive numbers? And what can they do?
Listen, before this game that they played with Oklahoma and in their last 4 games against SEC opponents. Mm-hmm. Did you know Alabama was averaging 18.75 points a game offensively?
Oh,
think about that. Let that sink in.
Averaging 18 points a game, 18.7.
Yep. So they came into this game and they did score some more points. Now, don't forget, now they scored 34, but 7 of that came on a pick six. Another, the field goal was set up by a block punt.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to say 10, you attribute to defense and special teams, you could say that, right? So it takes you down to 24. So I think here's the thing moving forward. And I know you guys are probably going to ask this, so I hate to get ahead of you.
No, please.
No, go right ahead.
But Indiana, you look at them, and John and Barry, I'm kind of surprised that some of the Alabama fans on Tighter Insider just saying this team's basically a fraud. And I'm saying, how can you really say that? They went on the road, they beat an Oregon team that's pretty good. They're number 5 right now, still in the playoffs. They beat Ohio State. Now, how many Indiana teams in the past have you seen that would beat Ohio State? Not many, right?
I think it was a 34-game losing streak.
That tells me that Kurt Cignetti has turned what's between the ears around. This is a confident football team. They're a sound, disciplined football team. They are plus 17 in turnover margin. What does that tell you? They average, I think it's like 475, something like that, total yards a game. And, 221 is rushing. The rest is passing, 250 something. They've scored 71 touchdowns, 38 passing, 29 rushing. They only give up 77 yards a game rushing. So they're really good against the run, and they run the football.
Yep.
They're mentally tough. They protect the football. But now I see a lot of people on TighterInsider.com telling me that they played a joke schedule. What would they have been if they had played Alabama's schedule? Yeah. But John, I'll leave it at this. I see one team that is sound, like I said, and consistent. I see another team in Alabama that does not play consistently sound, fundamentally sound, disciplined football.
I agree with you. I mean, I think the eye test, I go back to that. Athletically, wow, Alabama's got some athletes out there. You can see it. But are they sound, disciplined? Can they handle adversity and mentally tough? Indiana has that. And those teams are extremely difficult to beat because they're so confident in what they do. They're so sure with what they're doing. There's no confusion. They know exactly what they've got to do. I'm not sure Alabama doesn't have that characteristic.
Alabama is a team that has found ways, whether it was at Missouri on 4th and 8. Of course, you go back, let's say Georgia. You knock down Cash Jones. You get a late throw from Ty Simpson to seal the game to Jam Miller. Yeah. They have done some of those things. The drive against Auburn. We could go on and on and on. And what happened in this last game? But this eventually you run into a team that is really sound. And I think this is one of those teams. I'm not saying Alabama can't or won't win this game at all. I think Alabama, like you said, athletically is probably better than Indiana. There's probably multiple teams in this field that are better athletically than Indiana. But what Kirk Cignetti has done in terms of the discipline this team has is pretty amazing. So I think it's going to be a real challenge in this game. And it goes back to what you were asking or talking about offensively. And John and Barry, I just wonder if Alabama fans are can't see the trees for the forest. And what I mean by that is this. You mentioned 3 straight games under 300 yards. Okay, so everything right now is kind of being hidden by the fact that Alabama beat Oklahoma. They won the game. But the issues are there. The issues are very clear if you just look at them. And again, I'm not predicting doom and gloom. This is a team that is certainly capable of getting on a run. But I think you do have to look at the big picture and say, hey, you know what? Maybe this team is in for a big challenge when they play out there in the Rose Bowl.
I don't think you're going to rattle Indiana. Alabama rattled Oklahoma. And Oklahoma didn't have the confidence and the wherewithal like I think an Indiana team does. I'm just not sure if Indiana goes down 17, are they going to crumble? I don't think
Probably not. Probably not. And hey, like I said, give Alabama credit for what they did. It's going to be, the one thing that could play in Alabama's favor is that Indiana's been off since December the 6th.
Yes.
That is a long layoff. So you almost wonder, how might that impact a team like Indiana when they get out there? Maybe start slow, whatever. Maybe Alabama can jump on them quickly. But the one thing I will say too is, as fundamentally sound, as well coached as Indiana is, this one-dimensional Alabama offense is something that I just think ultimately it catches up with them.
This is great stuff. Rodney Orr, Tighter Insider, heading into the holidays with still football to be played. How do people access everything on the website and become a part of the community?
Right. It's tighterinsider.com. It's only $48 a year, and you can get instant access with your credit card. Or if you prefer, there is an address there to send a check. Gives you all of our premium information, but also all sports form. It's pretty hot last night. I actually had to delete some of my own posts, John and Barry.
Yeah.
But anyway, with all that said, just real quickly, John, Alabama going for their 1,000th victory. My book, Bigger Than Bama, started out with that Rose Bowl game from the 25 season, the 26 Rose Bowl, when Alabama went out there and, won that game, won the national championship, shocked the nation and all of that. And it's just crazy that now, exactly 100 years later, Alabama's going out to Pasadena again. It's just kind of crazy.
We were talking a little bit about that before you came on. 100 years ago, they go out there on the train. Southern football is born.
Yep.
100 years they're going back for their 1,000th victory. I mean, you couldn't write a script up like that, Rodney.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
It is crazy. And, John and Barry, I need to look. I probably should know it by heart. How many games Alabama has vacated the wins and all that?
Yeah.
Because they've actually should have over 1,000 now, as it is. But anyway, it'll be officially, I guess, the 1,000th victory, at least for now, unless they reinstate those wins that they had to vacate. But anyway, it's crazy, guys.
Yeah, it is crazy. Next week, we'll talk a little bit deeper in detail as we get back on our normal Thursday rotation. Rodney, thanks for adjusting your schedule. We appreciate it. Merry Christmas, and we will talk to you next week, my friend. Appreciate that, Rodney Orr, the Tighter Insider, joining us here today on the program.
And when we come back, hopefully, we've got the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov, the capital of dreams.
You can be a winner too with Victoryland Casino's 8 days of giveaways. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. We're giving away $125,000 in free play and cash. That's right. Victoryland Casino is giving away $125,000 in free play and cash. Come play the latest and greatest games featuring exciting bonuses and huge jackpots. There's always more ways to win at Victoryland Casino. Off I-85, exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Okay, back at it. Glad you're with us. About 8 minutes or so until the top of the hour. I'd let what Rodney said sink in because I thought he had some very interesting, let's say maybe not rah-rah type of comments and points that he addressed. I mean, hey, it's part of it. And he's brought to you by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. Barry, I'm heading out to see David today at the Destin Connection because the missus wants shrimp and grits on Christmas. So I'm going to get the freshest shrimp available. David's got it at the Destin Connection Seafood Market. You can pick up yours as well. 3750 Norman Bridge Road, or call ahead. They'll have them ready for you. They'll boil them. They'll peel them. They'll devein them for you. the freshest boiled shrimp, oysters, any other seafood item you may need. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, bringing you Rodney or the Tighter Insider.
Now it's time for the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel, presented by Victoryland 777 Casino, exit 22 off I-85 in Shorter, Alabama, where you can be a winner too. 6 topics, and our first is taking swipes. Is this a dude wipe thing? Taking swipes.
Ooh,
yeah. DK Metcalf. This was the Steelers game the other day. Oh, he had already, watch this, right across the face of Colts fan. No, Lions fan. I'm sorry, Lions fan. Crazy ending to that game. I think he was also the one that faked handing the ball to a fan and then pulled it back at the last minute.
Yep.
Somebody said something and DK popped him. I don't think there's going to be any sort
Got
of.
a 2-game suspension for that, Barry.
Did he? I didn't see that.
Did.
Good.
Yeah.
Good for him.
2-game suspension. Yep.
All right. That's one in. Let's hit the other one. Another one here. Ooh, the Phantom.
Come on. You can't be hitting the fans. Come on.
No, that's bad for business, right?
Yeah,
there.
it is. No doubt. Odd Couple. They've said that about us, believe it or not.
Hang on. It's Bottle Rocket.
Bottle Rocket.
Which was a great movie with Owen and Luke Wilson. Oh, yeah, another one. Georgetown coach. Let's see if we can pull the video on this. Ed Cooley, he got suspended. Watch what he does, okay? He's ticked off at his team. He's up there on the throws it. Hits a fan in the face. Some lady who paid a lot of money for that.
Oh, not good.
And, watch his reaction. That lady's just like, hits a lady in the expensive seats. Watch his reaction. He's like, hey, sorry, because he knows he's about to get suspended, and he did.
You know, Barry, the lady, though, I know it probably stunned her, but you got after that 3-second pause, and you got to go, oh, my arm.
Yeah. What's that buffoon done now? Yeah. I mean, you don't punch the fans, DK. You don't hit the fans with water bottles, Coach Cooley. Come on now. They're the ones paying
your
salary.
Yep.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here. Doesn't everybody know that? Oh, okay. Yeah. Clinched, the Phantom, Cool Breeze, and Odd Couple. This ought to be good.
Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got. No. Clinched. Clinched is the topic.
As opposed to clinched. Yeah. Yeah, the Colts lost to the 49ers despite Phillip Rivers throwing for 2 touchdowns and about 270 yards. 49ers win. Brock Purdy played really well yesterday. It's like Robbie from Greenville said, congratulations, Barry. Did you wear your Mark Brunell jersey yesterday? I didn't. I wore my Jaguars sweater, but that gets the Bills in, that gets the Chargers in, and it gets the Jacksonville Jaguars. And they're all going to get in anyway eventually, but that just absolutely clear.
You ought to send the 49ers a thank you note.
No kidding. Brock Purdy.
Teams
watch out for
the playoff.
Brock Purdy, he's all fixed from his foot injury. And he looked good last night for San Francisco. Watch out for the Niners.
Let's do
it. All right, here we
go. All right, let's spin away. Yellow, blue, red. It's going to land.
This will go yellow. We'll find. No, never mind. Ran out of juice.
Odd
couple. Odd couple.
Like I said. How about that picture? Yeah.
How about that? That's from Stivers Ford in Montgomery. Well, pull it up just a little bit. Yeah, this was from 6 years ago when a buddy, Paul Payne, wrote a feature for us, and he sold it. He wrote it just on his own. He sold it to the Montgomery Advertiser. And, John said something dumb,
Yeah, true. Yeah.
John's like, Barry, a 12-team playoff isn't enough. And I think, John, you got to be kidding me. The Braves are great. How can you say that?
Back when we actually had a newspaper in this town. Do we still have a newspaper in this town?
We do. Yep. That they say the Odd Couple. And other than, the movie with Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau and the TV show with Jack Klugman and Tony Randall, I gotta say, we're probably the next greatest example of that. That's probably John and I are great friends and all that. We get along with each other really, really well. But boy, we're different. The things that he likes, I don't usually care for. The things that really flutters John's skirts, doesn't do much for me. All the stuff you see on TV, on these types of events, a lot of times that's made up confrontation between the two. John and I really believe in what we're saying, unlike a lot of inauthentic people there on.
Plus, like all those other duos, we've been together a lot longer than they have.
Yes, and we're better looking too.
Well,
so
true. Even 62 years in, we are. Okay,
no kidding.
2 more to go. Let's see what we got. What is this going to be about? Blue and red.
This will
be. It's going to land on the Phantom.
The Phantom. Oh, what a legend!
The
Phantom. Huh. Oh yeah, this is on the birthday. Look in the background.
Yeah, he's coming.
You can't see him yet. Here he comes. Here, look over his. This is left shoulder coming up.
Well, there was a state trooper in the way. See that state trooper? He would not get out of the way.
Okay, now look. Where do we see him?
I'm thinking trooper. Let's see, the trooper's looking at me. You'll see me here in a minute.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. This is after a national championship. It was in the Superdome. John's lost track. There he is. Right by his left ear. There you go, Gurn. That's right. There he is, right back there. Get out the way. What are you doing?
Come on.
That guy boxes.
Right
shoulder between Tracy Wolfson and Nick Saban. There you go. Boy, is he locked in. Man.
People said I should.
This is Marissa Taylor. There he is, back, little tiny. There you go. Gurn's got the pointer on.
I think that was in the Orange Bowl, if I'm not mistaken.
John forgets there have been so many of them.
How many of these things have I got?
Let's see. This is Santa Clara. Never mind.
No, I didn't make the photo. Yeah, right there.
Where? Ta-da! There you are. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Wow.
That's an amazing thing.
How in the world did he pull all those up?
There's somebody out there who put all that together a few years back. Yeah.
We got one more? A blue panel? No way.
Let's go blue panel. Let's close it out here. Why not?
See what it looks like.
A couple of good gets.
This has got college days written all over it. If I
Cool Breeze. I think that was John's nickname for people that he didn't know their names, which was a lot.
Yeah.
Cool Breeze.
Yeah, look at this crowd.
All right, hang on. What is this, John?
This is a fraternity. We were new boys. I think we had just gotten initiated. I believe maybe we hadn't been initiated, but that's me there with a Saints cap on and the sunglasses.
What? With a little beard? I mean, there's facial hair.
Little gruff. There's Mr. Dry Cleaning King next to me right there.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so that was that was a party in the front yard of the house.
Goodness.
40-something years ago.
How about that?
Look how young we looked.
Young looking, world at their feet, great futures ahead. Who's the kid in the front with the Ole Miss hat on? What is he doing?
That is an Ole Miss hat. That's an old school Ole Miss hat.
Yeah.
Old school, yeah.
Oh, memories. Memories.
The only problem with that photo is we could have gotten one that had Gurn Sr. in there with me. I mean, where was he in that picture? He's probably studying.
Yeah, well,
he was always in the library.
He would have charged for it, too. Yeah, you can run my picture on him. It's going to cost you.
Probably studying. Yeah. All right, Barry, so tomorrow and Thursday, we will be off due to the Christmas holiday. We want to encourage you to enjoy time and spend time with your family and friends, but we'll be back on Friday at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville. It is the year-end savings sales event, and it really gets going on Friday.
At the end of the month. We also want you to celebrate the next couple of days responsibly, okay?
Yes.
Our title sponsor, Bud Light, right there behind me, always encourages to use their products responsibly. We'd love to see you again with us on the other side of the Christmas holiday. Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Happy holidays. On behalf of Gurn Jr., John, and me, it's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.